Big Guy Ryback here at Big Lou's Toys and Collectibles. Feed me more questions. Yeah, you know everything. So it's one of those things with the WWE I've talked about on the podcast conversation with the Big Guy, and I've done a couple interviews. I don't want to keep repeating myself, so to speak, and I've tried to keep a positive light in everything, even though there were a lot of negative circumstances and whatnot. But the main thing is that I have moved on. I got a lot of exciting things going forward, and the past is the past. I have forgiven everything that has happened. I've had to, and I've had to move on, and I've learned from everything, and I'm excited going forward. Yeah, so these are all things that I've wanted to do for a long, long time, and you know, the motivational book, I just had a conference call with that the other day, Wake Up, It's Feeding Time. It's going to be out before Christmas in December, and I have so many things being on the road and driving by yourself. I loved listening to, the reason why I drove by myself is I love listening to audiobooks and learning. I pride myself in, and I love being a wrestler, and I'll be a pro wrestler till the day I die, but there's so much more to life than fake punches and fake kicks, and I like to just constantly challenge myself and learn. And so when I came off the road, I've been working on this book over the last year. On the road, I'd always just kind of work on it whenever I could, and this is a way for me to take everything that I've learned on my time on airplanes and rental cars and being alone and digesting this information and putting it to use, and I have the experience with it, and I put it into this book, and it's going to be able to, I really truly feel it's going to be able to help a lot of people and expand past just wrestling fans, and help me with my motivational speaking career and things that I've been wanting to do for a long time. So I put my heart and soul into this book, and I'm very excited for the release of it. So the book isn't going to really be focused on wrestling or anything, not my career, so to speak. There are some stories in there and instances of the past in the book that relates to the chapters that I'm directly talking about. But this book is not going to be like the story of my life, so to speak. This is just on different things that I've learned that are going to be able to help people in many different aspects of their life, if that makes sense. You know, I just wanted to do more. We have an opportunity being on television and being role models to kids and adults alike. And I have a lot of experience with things, and I've been through a lot. We've all been through a lot, but and again, we have a certain level. You have a certain level of power from being on TV where you can influence people. And it's something that has driven me from day one, that I want to be able to reach people in another way outside of pro wrestling. And it's great to be able to have somebody come and tell you, you know, for me, the things that gave me great satisfaction were when I did the promo on The Secret on TV. I get more people coming up to me saying, thank you for showing us a real side of you. That book has helped change my life, or you helped change my life. That to me is, that's what life is about, you know what I mean? And it's more than just pro wrestling. So, and through that avenue, I've been able to affect people, and so that's what I'm doing with this book. It's just an extension of that, and just helping people, because we all need help one way or the other. Like I said, I read all these different books or listen to these books, and if I get one piece of valuable information out of it, you know, it helps my life, and so that's what I'm hoping with this, that they can get something out of this. Yeah, the episodes coming up, we actually start getting into some other subjects and things like family and drugs and sharing our personal experiences and whatnot. And because wrestling's always going to be there, and that people are always going to be interested in wrestling. But I'm trying to expand past that, because there's a whole other universe out there filled with people that I don't want to be labeled as just one thing, and as hard as that is, and everyone's going to look at me and I'm always going to be a professional wrestler, but this is something me and Pat Buck, he's my best friend, he's my manager, we go way back, he's been with me through thick and thin, and this whole thing came about because we always just have conversations like this going back and forth on Voxer and things like that, and we're like, let's just do a podcast, and you know, it's a way to keep me kind of with a voice still. I'm not on TV right now, so the reception to it has been amazing. We just got advertising. We're moving over to Audio Boom now. I believe they have the Bischoff podcast and Ric Flair podcast, and now Big Guy, a conversation with the big guys. So I'm very thankful for the way things have worked out. Yeah, no, these are things I've had on my mind for some time now, and like the Feed Me More Nutrition, the supplement line. I've been kind of putting notes away for this for a long time and creating the formulas of everything that I wanted, and it was when I decided to leave, it was the right time. These are all things that, you know, pro wrestling in your body, you only have a certain shelf life of that, and I was just I'm looking ahead at the rest of my life, and again, this is stuff I believe in and I'm passionate about. I've loved supplements since I was a kid, and I know what works and what doesn't work, and there's a lot of bad companies out there, and there's some really good ones, but I wanted to do it my way, and so this is a way for me to do that, and to go into a whole other, like I'm putting my hands in a lot of different jars here right now, but I'm having fun. It's all things I'm passionate about, and I'm going to be at like the LA Fit Expo in January with that, with Feed Me More Nutrition, and I'll be at a few other expos throughout the year. It's just a way to, I'm a big believer in you got to find things that you love in life, and just work really hard at, and just commit to them, and that's what I'm doing right now, and I'm having fun. Yeah, Curtis Axel is one of my really, really good friends, and I talk to him, you know, regularly up there. The way it came about to being put together, we weren't thrilled about or anything like that, but it ended up, we took a negative and we turned that into a positive as far as two guys just having fun. And there's so much that people didn't get to see with that on TV, and most of the time we had to do like backstage stuff for the .com, for WWE.com, and it wasn't seen by that many people compared to what it would have been on TV, and that's what we always we weren't happy about that, and not having televised entrances all the time, and it's no wrestler likes that, and they know that, but we were able to take from it what we needed, and RYBACK, so we always joke RYBACK for life. I'm sure there'll be another point in time where we reunite and whatnot, and he's such a good dude, and such a good guy, and good human being, and a family man, and he's one of the guys I'm proud to say is one of my friends. So from that standpoint, it was unbelievable. Creatively, it sucked, and everyone knows it sucked, but what's done is done, and you can't do anything about it. So the Paul Heyman stuff, again, I was kind of doing the bullying thing at that point in time, and I had a really good momentum going with that, and we kind of just stopped that dead in its tracks like always, and pulled me out to kind of, you know, to go with Punk again and do some repeat business that we just did the year prior. Just roles were reversed, and it was what it was. They were decent paydays, and it was nothing past that. So. Well, I mean, I've said from day one, if you don't protect your own brand and yourself, nobody else will. And same goes for working with the WWE on that. And that was one of my biggest things that, you know, and I have my reasons and the different things of our past together. But the goal there should be to build each and every individual brand up as much as possible. And not everyone's going to be champion or anything like that. But there is a certain level of protection that every brand deserves to have up there. And I was not happy from their end what I was receiving from them. And it was just, we didn't see eye to eye, and it was just time to kind of move on. But like I am so passionate about Feed Me More and about RYBACK and the big guy brand. I've created all of this years before I was ever there or anything, and I know what it means to me, and I know it goes so much deeper, like I said, than professional wrestling. It's a Feed Me More mindset, and it's the reason why I've been as successful as I am, and it's why I've been successful leaving there and doing all this, and you have to protect it, because if you don't, no one else will. Like, yeah, so El Pollo Loco contacted me, my manager actually, Pat, and they were very excited to do something with the Feed Me More, in which we're doing Feed Me More Loco, and I did my first appearance in Las Vegas the other day, and we had a great turnout, and it looks like we're going to be doing some more business together and hopefully work out a deal. I would love to become the face of El Pollo Loco and go around, and it's just one aspect of the Feed Me More brand, and there's no limitations that can be put on it. And El Pollo Loco is one thing, I eat that every day, and there's healthy things there, and I found, like, for me, it fits into my diet perfectly, and so I believe in it. So if I believe in it, why wouldn't I want to be associated with it? And it's a really good fit. So I'm very thankful for like opportunities like this that I never necessarily heard about before. Now they're kind of coming, so it's a good thing. It's a little bit of both. Like I love professional wrestling. I've loved it since I was a kid, and I put my heart and soul into this, and I have a lot of pride in this, and I have a lot of unfinished business that, you know, there's some goals that I didn't get to achieve up there that were out of my hands. And I've gotten a lot of flack, you know, from fans over the years for certain things, I feel like, and I'm very eager to go out and show them how good I am, because I'm great, and I know I am, and there's nobody that works as hard as me, not one person, and I firmly believe that, and because I know what I put into this, so I'm excited to get back out there and to work. There's a lot of great independent wrestlers out there, and there's going to be a lot of really cool matchups, and I want them to have a very good experience when they see the big guy Ryback live in person. Like a lot of the fans that saw me on WWE live events, they know what I'm capable of, so I'm going to go out there and prove it all over again. Yeah, and like I've told a lot of people ask me, like, where are you gonna sign with anybody? And I have no desire to sign a contract with anybody. And not to say like I can't go to New Japan and go work some matches over there, but as far as like tying myself down for a year or 2 years or 3 years, it's not going to happen. And with everything that I got going on, I don't need to do that. And I like being my own boss. I'm a very creative being, and I like being in control, because there's nothing worse than somebody telling you go out there and look bad, and you're going to look bad time and time again, when the work and everything else says otherwise. So I'm going to go out and correct some mistakes that were done over the years, and just have fun and live my life. And it's all stuff I'm passionate about, and I'm in control. It was just, I mean, essentially it was a bunch of the 7, 8 guys, 8 initially with Daniel Bryan from NXT, and I don't think they knew what to do with us necessarily. They knew they had a group of talented guys, and they brought us in there, and we had one shot to go out there and to kind of make an impression, and we're all guys that had struggled in developmental together essentially for a very long time. Outside of like David Otunga was fairly new, but like Dave he's a great guy, and we all like Dave, and but everybody had their own story, but we're all hungry, and it was cool. We went from challenging each other to then us challenging the roster, which was like our minds just shifted all at once and we became a unit, and it was really cool. And it was magic, man. And the way that all unfolded live on TV, of just 7 guys who had fear struck into them from above that you guys would be fired if this doesn't go well. Well, we've just spent our whole lives, and whether we were going to be fired or not, who knows, but we've spent our whole lives to get there. We weren't going to screw that up, so that's why I think that turned out the way that it did. Yep. Oh, when he didn't go up? Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was, so again, being on live TV, it was one of those things. He was actually very nervous about that before going into it, and at that point, picking everybody up for that had been fairly easy. But it's a really funny story about that. I had a nightmare the night before that I couldn't get somebody up in my dream, and it wasn't him, it was just a nightmare, and it was such odd timing. And we had just done that match on SmackDown the week before, and it was fine. There were no problems whatsoever. And it was completely my fault on that. I just hooked him wrong, like as far as I usually have to get the guy's weight on my neck and my upper back, and you kind of got to get it around their waistline, and he's a very large human being, and it wasn't the weight, I was picking it up on, all his weight was on one end and there was no weight on the other, rather than balancing it out, and it wasn't happening. And it's one of those things on live TV, we tried it again, it wasn't going to happen, and just called an audible and just went with the meat hook. So, but I mean, you got to remember too, and I said, I always took it like I was going out there, I was hitting home runs, I was doing a lot of power feats week in and week out, and there's a lot of television product, and sometimes you screw up, and sometimes things don't go wrong. But that was one out of thousands and thousands of attempts of doing things, power moves on the road and on TV. So it made me laugh, and you learned my lesson on bigger guys. I just got to take my time and make sure I hook that in properly, because it's not like picking the guy up for like the AA or a guy when I pick him up for that backpack stunner that I would do. It's a little different how I'm loading into it. It's a little more of a good morning and a deadlift into one, and a squat. So I just had to taught me to take my time on it. it was a good experience. So, like, I'm thankful it happened early on rather than later in a bigger moment, to be honest. So we always joked about it, and we did it 10 more times with him after that, and he every time would get nervous, and I was like, I got you, don't worry, it was my fault, I know what I did wrong. So he's a great guy. This is the big guy Ryback at Big Lou's Toys and Collectibles with Gemini Sports in Culver City, California, and you're watching Inside Edge. Feed me more.